charm in the tough NFC South this year, and the Atlanta Falcons trying to break that, and the New Orleans Saints glad they're back home at the Superdome in New Orleans. Another critical NFC South battle, the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints. And looking at the standings coming in, the Falcons are one game behind Tampa Bay and Carolina, who play tomorrow night, with New Orleans 6-6 in fourth place. And welcome everyone to the Crescent City. Dick Stockton along with Brian Billick and Brian Baldinger, and every game in the division has been won by the home team this year, and that presents a stiff challenge for the Falcons, who are in the midst of a remarkable turnaround year. So Baldy, how did they get it done today?
Well, you know, their two big offensive stars have been huge every week. I mean, Matt Ryan, one mistake, one interception in the last 5 games. They're 4-1 in those games. Michael Turner leads the NFL with 13 rushing touchdowns. That's a give and dip. The biggest reason for this turnaround in my mind is the defense. They're one of 4 teams in this league so far this year that haven't given up 30 points in a game. And the catalyst is defensive end John Abraham, who's playing his best football in 9 years, to the point where Sean Payton has said our #1 priority today in offense is to take care of John Abraham.
And the Falcons better play a good defensive game against this prolific Saints offense. But they're in a position, Coach, where they have to win all of their remaining games and then get help. Tough position to be in.
Well, the New Orleans Saints ought to be on top of the world. They're at home where they're 5-1. They've got a record-setting quarterback and the #1 offense in the National Football League. So what's the problem? Sean Payton knows his problem is they don't have balance. They're averaging less than 90 yards a game running the ball, and they know that they've got to get more out of their running game to have that balance if they're going to get where they want to go. The last time they played these Atlanta Falcons, they threw for over 400 yards and lost.
Well, that's 4 weeks ago, so that game very fresh in the minds of both teams. So, beautiful day in New Orleans. We welcome you to the Superdome. Coming up next, the Falcons and the Saints.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Here at the Louisiana Superdome, getting set for the start of today's game. The Saints won the toss and they'll get the ball. As you look at very impressive first-year head coach Mike Smith. Team has already won twice as many as they did last year. He said it'll be interesting playing for the first time in an indoor stadium as a visiting team. They, of course, play at the Georgia Dome. And Sean Payton, who always great spirit, rallying his team, and knows that they have to win them all the rest of the way, and you have to start with this game. They've got 2 games on the road against Chicago and Detroit before finishing here against Carolina. So we're set to go. Michael Kanan will be kicking off for the Falcons, and Courtney Roby will be back deep for the Saints. Neither team has been able to put together a decent win streak. The Falcons today can win their 3rd in a row for the first time this year, and the Saints have not been able to win more than 2 straight. This game is underway, and Roby returning from the 7. Gets an opening and brings it out to the 27-yard line. And that's where Drew Brees will go to work. And at home this season, he has been magic. 5-1 in his record, 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and great percentage as well. As we look at the Saints offense, of course, the return of Reggie Bush last week, but did not play the first time these teams played. And the rest of the offensive players, and playing on familiar surroundings here at the Superdome. First down from the 27. Pierre Thomas is the running back, and he gets the call, and a good gain on first down by Thomas. And Thomas stopped by Keith Brooking after picking up 7. Let's take a look at the Falcons defense. 23rd against the pass. That's not good against Drew Brees, is it?
Well, the one guy that can put pressure on them is John Abraham. And they know today that they have got to keep an eye on John Abraham and account for him every single play. He's the guy right now. He's going to the other side. He's going to be looking for the best matchup and the quickest route to get into Drew Brees.
Second down and 3. The defensive lineman gets back for the Falcons, and here is Thomas. And Thomas's second effort will be stopped short by 1.5 yards from first down yardage. And it was Jonathan Babineau.
Baldy, we can see right from the get-go, we talked about Sean Payton talked about, they've got to run the ball better. They've got to have balance. And to do that, at some point, you've got to run well between the tackles. Very first two plays, challenging Atlanta right between the tackles.
And Pierre Thomas is the guy that averaging almost 5 yards a carry the last 4 games. He's been very productive. They believe in him, and they want to find out if he can be that guy that can run between the tackles.
Gained only 34 yards against Tampa Bay, and they go to Thomas again, and he is stopped. And a big play defensively made again by Babineau. So the middle of the line for the Atlanta Falcons sends the Saints to 3 and out.
Well, the key to running the ball is running it when you have to. And in the middle right here is Jonathan Babineau. They call him the Iron Man. He plays more snaps than anybody. Splits the double team there between Carl Nix and Jonathan Goodwin. Got the penetration and stopped Pierre Thomas.
So Glenn Pakalak will be kicking. Signed in Week 10, and Harry Douglas, the rookie from Louisville, one of the new players that have boosted the Falcons this year, and a good high kick by Pakalak. And Douglas inside the 20-yard line, muffed a kick last week against San Diego, and Usama Young makes the play after the short gain of 2. So Matt Ryan, 6 touchdowns and 1 interception in the last 5 games, and you can already name him Rookie of the Year. There they have Turner, and let's not forget Roddy White, the wide receiver, and a solid offensive line, Baldy.
The offensive line has been outstanding. Sam Baker, the #1 pick, has been out the last 6 weeks. Todd Weiner's going over the left tackle. But Harvey Dahl and Tyson Clabo on the right side have really played well.
From the 22-yard line, and Matt Ryan will flip it out, and it's dropped by Michael Turner, who is open on the left side. And that will bring up 2nd down and 10, taking a look at the Saints defense. Now, Will Smith is in the starting lineup, not Jeff Charleston, and of course we'll be talking about those suspensions and the fact the judge made the decision. And Josh Bullocks is the free safety in the rest of the group.
This group has had a lot of injuries. There's a lot of players in here that have seen some limited time. They're going to get tested by this very balanced Atlanta offense.
14 players on injured reserve for the Saints, Coach. And the running play to Turner, and Turner, very big, must run, and Turner will, after being nearly stopped after a couple of yards, bust one close to midfield to the 47, gaining 26.
Well, guys on the Saints said he's like the human bowling ball, but with deceptive speed. They have him bottled up here. I mean, right now, Vilma's got him. He runs through Vilma, he runs through Jason David, and that's when he's most dangerous. When he gets into the open field, this guy has got speed. Look at that. Covers up the ball. Got a little splint on his right thumb, but he's protecting it, and now he's got breakaway speed.
And Randall Gay, the cornerback for the Saints, shaken up. He'll take a timeout.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Coach Osama Young replaces Randall Gay. Boy, they've been hit hard in the secondary.
Well, and when you lose a player like Randall Gay, now you've got your nickel player starting in the secondary. You've got to put a backup nickel player in. It's a tough combination.
First down on the 48, play action for Ryan, and the pass is caught by Michael Jenkins. And Jenkins has run out of bounds in New Orleans territory at the 38, and a gain of 14 as we check in with Laura Oakman.
Thank you, Dick. With 2 of the most explosive offenses in the league, we should see a lot of scoring today, but the most important score may be the first one. All week, Sean Payton has been telling his team we cannot let the Falcons get off to a quick start, and here's why. When Atlanta scores first this season, they are 8-1, 0-3 when their opponent strikes first.
And that's a concern for Sean Payton, Laura, without question. Meanwhile, the Falcons are driving. Here is Turner up the middle, and Michael Turner getting close to the first down, maybe a bit shy, as Scott Fujita brings down the bowling ball before he hits the pins.
Well, he knocked down a bunch of pins on this one, Dick. And look inside here to this right side. That's Harvey Dahl and Tyson Clabo. They double team Cedric Ellis right out of the mix there. I mean, just rolled him out. And then the bowling ball. He's like, that's a pretty good hole. That's not bad. You know, he got himself all covered up. Not going to let anybody rip that ball out. It takes a bunch of Saints with him.
120 yards against San Diego in the win on the road last week, and it's the fullback Obi Mahaley, and he'll have it up for the first down. So Mahaley, who spent 4 years with the Ravens and playing for Coach Billick, gets the first down after picking up a couple.
And having a fullback like Mahaley is a big plus for a team. Mike Carney on the other side of the ball, he's been hurt the last couple of weeks for New Orleans. That's a big reason why they haven't run the ball very well. But Baldy, New Orleans has got to be much more aggressive building that 8-man box, don't they? Otherwise, Atlanta's just going to run this thing right down their throat.
Well, you play them with 7 men, and they're in an 8-man front right now. Well, now they're back in a 7. I mean, they'll keep running it. Matt Ryan will check to a run when they're in that situation.
First down on the 27, and here is another running play, but this time the Saints do come up on the flank as Usama Young makes the stop on Michael Turner, and no gain, maybe a yard for Turner.
This is what the coach is talking about here. You can see guys cheating up, coming into the situation here. There's Usama Young coming up and making the hit from the cornerback position along with Vilma. Vilma's been very active this year. Usama Young now in there for Randall Gay because of that injury that happened on the first play.
And 3 down linemen for the Saints on 2nd down and 9. Ball is at the 26, and out of the shotgun, the quick pass is intercepted and taken down. Jason David tackled from behind. So David, who had a couple of interceptions 2 weeks ago, continues his torrid play as the interception right here.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability.
Well, Matt Ryan is upset with himself. As soon as he let that ball go, he knew he made a mistake. One of the few mistakes he's made this year to that degree.
And the handoff to Reggie Bush. And he's going to break it. And down inside the 20-yard line on a collision in which a defender ran into a St. Clair, and Lawyer Malloy first missed him. And a huge burst of 43 yards, first and goal.
This is the longest run of the year by Reggie Bush. He looks like that was a huge hole, and now he looks like the best punt returner in the league, just going right down the middle of the defense. Didn't even see Lance Moore at the end trying to throw him a block. He was so set on scoring on this play.
And the first rush of 30 yards or longer for Reggie Bush. And it's going to be Pierre Thomas that gets tripped up as he gets to the 6-yard line. So the 43-yard run by Bush following the interception by Jason David.
Well, here's Jason David looking right at Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan knew as soon as he let this ball go, he was throwing it to the outside. Jason David was keying on him.
And Baldy, you alluded to it earlier. You can know, Matt Ryan right now knows, oh my gosh, I don't know if he didn't see Jason David or underestimated what the depth Roddy White was going to pull up, but he knew right away, oh, I got to get down there and keep the touchdown off the board.
2nd and goal from the 5. And here is Breeze pass. Bush touchdown. He was not himself last week playing in the rain outdoors in Tampa Bay, but Reggie Bush coming back big, and remember, did not play in the previous meeting 4 weeks ago, and he puts the Saints in front with a pass from Drew Brees.
You know, Baldy, the big run by Reggie Bush, when you look at the first 2 years, what's surprising to me is the lack of big runs. You'd figure Reggie Bush would lead the league in big runs. It's great for the Saints to get that out of him early in the game.
So Garrett Hartley looking to give the Saints a 7-0 lead, and he does. So just when it looked like the Falcons were driving down to take a familiar early lead, the Saints draw first blood. We'll be right back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. No matter how you prepare for game day, Visa is the way to go. By Sprint, join the Now Network. And by the 2009 Cadillac CTS.
Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in HD. Saints going 52 yards on 3 plays. And a 5-yard touchdown pass from Drew Brees to Reggie Bush. And it was Jason David's interception and 24-yard return that set it up. And now Garrett Hartley will be kicking off. Jarius Norwood is back deep at the 2, returning for Atlanta. And slips and is down at the 22-yard line. So Matt Ryan comes out again after the interception. Well, this could be a high-scoring game. That means the Atlanta Falcons will have to get their offense in high gear. The likes of Matt Ryan, Michael Turner, and of course the wide receiver Roddy White in that group will start from the 22-yard line. Falcons have lost their last 4 games here at the Superdome. They'll send Mahaley, the fullback, to the left, and the handoff to Michael Turner. And not much for Turner, and stopped immediately.
Dick, there's just a real schism here, home and away, throughout this division, but amongst these two quarterbacks. You look at Matt Ryan's quarterback rating at home in Atlanta, where they've only lost 1 game to Denver, and then the same thing with Drew Brees. He lost the 1 game on the Monday night, but look at his home quarterback rating versus what it is on the road.
Hey, the division is 22-2 overall at home. 2nd down and 9. And Harry Douglas, the rookie, going in motion, and they'll go to Turner off the left side. Michael Turner cuts upfield and is stopped at the 27-yard line as we have our first game break of the day, checking in with Kurt Menefee in L.A.
Well, Dick, much like your game, the Bears score off a Jacksonville turnover. Just a quick 2-yard pass from Kyle Desmond Clark. Nonetheless, it's a 7-0 lead in the first quarter in Chicago. Back to Dick and the Killer Bees.
They love that offense in Chicago, what's happened to the defense, and so we'll see what the Bears do as the season moves on in that NFC North. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 4. And Ryan gets time in the pocket, and the pass is knocked away by Osama Young, defending against Roddy White. So Young, who has come in for the injured Randall Gay at cornerback, makes a play there, forcing the Falcons to punt.
The way Atlanta is responding to the challenge. They've had a lot of challenges. They had to go to the West Coast, win a West Coast game. They've done 2 of those. Came back against Carolina. Now doing it on the road against New Orleans. Starting out. This is not the way Mike Smith wanted to start out.
And Reggie Bush is back to return the punt. He handled some of them last week as Michael Kanan lifts another high kick. Flag goes down. Bush at the 33. Remember, there's a penalty marker down, and he gets tripped up shy of midfield by Jason Snelling. But a penalty marker down. Bill Levy is the referee this afternoon.
Well, whatever happened, it happened early.
Yes.
Before it was even
During
caught.
the kick, holding, number 15 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down Saints. Timeout.
So Courtney Roby committing the penalty, and that will bring the Saints back. They'll take a timeout right here. Saints in front 7-0. They used to wear bags over their heads here in terrible days, but now I guess that's an improvement.
Well, I mean, the masks are never out of style in this town.
No, you're right. 1st and 10 at the 23. And Reggie Bush lining up in the backfield, and the pass going to Jeremy Shockey. And Shockey, who appears to have a big role in this game, according to Sean Payton, gets the 1st down and 18 yards.
Well, Jeremy Shockey, when coming in from New York, the expectations went through the roof. When he came down here from New York, he had been with Sean Payton before. You could see the excitement in Drew Brees' eyes when early in the season he had Jeremy Shockey. It's been a bit of a rough road, but he's still a talent that adds to the collective of this New Orleans offense.
And he's getting healthy now for the first time. Healthy as he's been.
Here, Thomas. And Thomas crosses the 45 to the 46-yard line, getting 5 yards on that clip. Nearly 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. The Saints leading the Falcons 7-0. Atlanta coming in 1 game behind the Bucks and the Panthers, who play tomorrow night. The winner of that game will take over the lead in the NFC South.
You see the number here with Drew Brees. You can't let him get him a rhythm, Baldy.
No.
Atlanta's got to do anything they can to disrupt the rhythm that Drew Brees already appears to be in.
2nd down and 5. Brees unable to hold on as Marcus Colston defended by Chris Houston, and that will bring up 3rd down and 5.
like about this Atlanta secondary right now, as young as they are, Chris Houston in his second year at Arkansas, is how they'll challenge receivers. And that time, Chris Houston on that proverbial island against Marcus Colston, a guy much bigger than him, really played with him, played on him right there, and was able to defend that pass.
And Drew Brees checked to that. Yep. He saw the matchup. He knew where he wanted to go. He checked to try to exploit that.
3rd down and 5. Colston had his best game of the year against the Falcons. So on 3rd down and 5, Brees, nowhere near Lance Moore, who is really spinning the other way. Jevis Jackson was the closest defender, so the Falcons hold the Saints. And get the ball.
Dick, you just don't see this very often between Brees and any of his receivers, where there is clear. I mean, that's just a rub, a natural way in man-to-man coverage to get a guy open. And Lance Moore, one of the more intelligent receivers in this league, and maybe the most intelligent on the team. A breakdown between him and Brees on that play.
Brian Finneran is back deep, and Greg Pakalak will be punting for the 2nd time. Finneran says, I'm going to let this one roll, and it's a great roll for the Saints, and it will go out of bounds at the 2-yard line, and a timeout. So Pakalak from the University of Kentucky couldn't do it any better. Well, Wednesday on Fox, they are the richest people in America, but for 1 week they'll live in poor neighborhoods and for minimum wages while keeping their identity hidden. Their mission? To share their wealth with those they find worthy. Secret Millionaire, all new this Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox.
This is always an interesting place on your play calling sheet. I used to love Bobby Bowden. He used to say, don't get nervous, somebody's going to score here. Great place for a shot down the field to push you off the shadow of your goal line.
First down from the 2 from Matt Ryan, the rookie. And from his end zone, and he's going to go deep toward Roddy White, and a flag goes down, and they're going to rule it incomplete, that he was out of bounds. No more force out in this league.
They're also going to get Roddy White on a push-off down here at the bottom against Usama Young. Just that little push there to get that separation. Well, he got both feet down. I don't know if he had possession.
And he didn't need it. He didn't need that.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Offensive pass interference, number 84. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
And it's interesting, we were looking at the video last night of Mike Pereira and some of the plays, and they say they are watching that offensive pass interference, and we saw an example of that there.
And it's been called more this year than than I can in recent memory. He really didn't need it.
No.
The guy was going past. He was in great position. Just instinctively kind of put his hands up.
And of course, Mike Pereira is the head of officials in the National Football League, and he must look at the video for 3 straight days. 2nd down and 10. And here's Turner that gets hit at the goal line and is stopped within the 1-yard line. And Scott Shanley with a terrific play. Loss of 1 for the Falcons.
And a real test now for the young quarterback, Matt Ryan. Obviously, New Orleans coming up here, filling all the gaps aggressively. They got the cornerback coming up as well. They were smelling safety, Baldy, but they couldn't quite keep him out of the end zone. But Matt Ryan here, this is going to, what kind of confidence you have in Matt Ryan? Because if you have to punt from here, you're almost assuredly giving up points.
Third and 11, and on the slant, Roddy White with the catch and the first down. Well, we learned something about Matt Ryan, maybe that we didn't know before.
Well, we're going to see the catch here by Roddy White, which is a great catch. That ball's in the air before Roddy ever put the foot in the ground to run that slant pattern. Watch how quickly Matt Ryan gets this ball out of his hands. It's like Derek Jeter turning a double play.
And quarterbacks hate the slant route because they don't know what's coming out underneath. To call that, execute that from the 1-yard line, this guy just keeps impressing us play after play.
15 yards on that one, and nothing for Michael Turner. What did Mike Smith say? We see so many wow plays in practice during the week, and we don't know when we're going to see another wow. We saw one there.
That was a wow play to make that kind of throw. It's a safe throw. You could say, well, that wasn't that a big-time throw. Yeah, it was. In that situation, Baldy, that was a big-time throw.
Well, it is, because what you talked about was you got to throw that ball before you're really sure exactly how the defense is going to play it. You got to put it out there and let the receiver go get it. Sometimes defensive backs read that. They read the route better than the receiver.
Second down and 10. Saints lead 7-0. Harry Douglas in motion to the right. They're going to run it again to Norwood. The Norwood is stopped by Jeff Charleston, who was signed in Week 6, played with the Colts last year, and gave way to start the game to Will Smith.
But one thing about the Falcons, even though they're down 7-0, they've run the ball a whole lot more than they've thrown it this year. This is a patient team offensively. They're not afraid to stay with it. Matt Ryan covering up his ears here because you probably can't hear the signal coming in with the crowd standing on its feet, knowing how important this third down is.
And remember, 43 of those 60 Saint yards was that one play by Reggie Bush. Third down and 11. And they're going to have a false start penalty. Tyson Clabo, the right tackle.
False start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
I'm talking to Mike Smith last night, head coach of Atlanta. He said, we have to be able to handle the environment, meaning handle the noise, handle the crowd. It's our first game on the road inside a dome, and he knows what it's like playing in that Georgia dome when that crowd is going. And right there is an example, Tyson Clabo jumping.
And they test these young guys because they scatter their formation. They're at the line a long time, the linemen are. Anytime you shift in motion and do the things they're doing, that's going to test you in this environment.
Now it's 3rd and 16. Ryan's pass, and it's caught by Roddy White, but he will be shy of the first down by about 6 yards thanks to Usama Young. He picked up 9, but at least Matt Ryan got out of deep trouble, Baldy.
They got off the goal line. They got off the goal line. Now they still have to punt to Reggie Bush, who early in this game already looks like he's the fastest player on the field and the healthiest he's been in 2 months.
He does, doesn't he, Baldy? We saw him last week. A little bit had to do with the field, but he does. And it's at home. You know, on this turf, he's very comfortable, but he does look like he's back to his normal, quick, and aggressive style.
Kanan's kick fielded by Reggie Bush and nowhere to go but out of bounds. And a great kick that time by Michael Kanan of 51 yards. We're coming up in the NFL on Fox. Second half of our doubleheader, and it's a big one. The Cowboys and the Steelers.
Tell you what, the Cowboy, I bet you've been at the Steelers, Baldy, you've been there. It looks like it's going to be an ugly day.
Yeah.
That's going to be a heck of a test for the Cowboys.
And it's the best defense in football on every single level, and how Romo handles that pass rush in Pittsburgh determine a big part of their success with no Marion Barber today.
And Ben Roethlisberger, who slipped and was shaken up during the week, is all right. So that'll be a battle royal coming up in the second half of our doubleheader. First down on the 28, and the give is to Reggie Bush. And Bush, you guys are right. You can see the extra hop in his step as he is stopped at the 34 by Michael Boley after a pickup of 5.
And if they can get Reggie Bush cranked up out of the eye like that, Baldy, what that does to Drew Brees' play fake and shots down the field is huge. He's not a particularly dynamic between the tackles runner. We talked about it earlier about that's got to be the element part of the game, or the part of the game they add to their total package. But if they can then do that and then play action fake off of it, it's going to be huge.
2nd and 4. Jeremy Shockey is wide to the left. And going for him is Shockey. And Brees hitting his tight end. And the first down out to the 43, picking up 9.
Well, it's clear that Shockey, along with Reggie Bush, are a big part of the game plan early today. And maybe, Brian, our coach, the big reason is these guys keep getting healthier and healthier and more comfortable in this offense.
They were gone. They did not have their complete package back until last week of their entire cadre of personnel. We're beginning to see what an impact they can be.
Half a minute remaining in the first quarter. And on the rollout, the pass is caught by Colston, and he spins his way to the first down, and it should be the end of the first quarter as the Saints get into Falcon territory to the 46. A first down. Drew Brees, who earlier threw his 25th touchdown pass to Reggie Bush to account for the only points in the game. And that'll be the end of the first quarter here at the Superdome with the score. The Saints 7, Falcons nothing. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. We begin the second quarter in New Orleans. Dick Stockton along with Brian Billick, Brian Baldinger. That's the coach and Baldy, and Laura Oakman down on the field. Saints lead 7-0, and Drew Brees with a first down on the 46 of Atlanta. De'Aaron Thomas with a big run. And that's what Sean Payton said. We're going to have more balance this week. And Lawyer Malloy brings him down after a gain of 18.
Baldy, you could see the effect that the pass-happy offense of the New Orleans Saints has on Atlanta here, because they've been hit with 2 big draws now off of obviously a drop-back action.
Well, they had both safeties deep that time. They've got balance. I mean, here's the 2 safeties on the play, Brian. When they're back like that and they're defending against these receivers, that's the time to run it. And that's exactly what they did.
First down at the 28, so the Saints with the lead and threatening. Brees with the catch. And let's see if it's intercepted. It is, according to the officials. And off the hands of Colston and Shevis Jackson, who 4 weeks ago returned a Drew Brees pass for a touchdown, has intercepted another Drew Brees pass. Let's see if there's a challenge. Oh, there should be. Yep.
Today's game is sponsored by Nissan. When you need it most, Nissan delivers. For attractive lease and finance options, visit your Nissan dealer. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, it never needs a battery. And by Miller Lite. Reach for the original Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Now that's a great thought.
Back here in New Orleans, 7-0 Saints lead, and their head coach Sean Payton challenging the ruling on the field that the pass from Drew Brees was intercepted.
I guess you officially have to actually drop it, even though you just told the guy. It clearly there hits the ground.
That ball hits the ground. I mean, Shevis Jackson does a good job of just trying to scoop it up and show a catch, but I think this is going to come back to the Saints.
And this is an opportunity now, Baldy. You talk about spots to take a shot to the end zone. Obviously a big turnover. You get the ball on the 40-yard line. But this is one Atlanta, that was going to be their ball. They've stopped this tide. Now they're not going to get it back. It'll be interesting to see if New Orleans comes back and tries to take advantage of that emotionally and put the ball down into the end zone.
Well, 2nd and 10 play, and you have a little bit of a lull here. Go strike now. Strike while it's you get a chance with the ball.
Typically in this situation, draw, screen is what you're looking for. And if they're too passive, we may very well see that. Drew Brees has the capacity, we've seen already, to check the offense from a run to a pass. We've seen it a couple times already.
Well, already the New Orleans Saints have withstood that first score that the Falcons have done this year, and they've been 6-0 when they have scored first. And Bill Levy will give us his determination.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. With the timer put 14-18 on the game clock, it'll be 2nd and 10 on the 29-yard line. New Orleans is not charged a timeout.
Well, they've had a lot of time, Peyton, with his team to dial up something interesting here.
And it all went through his mind right there. There's, okay, let's follow up. We want to run the ball. We want to have the balance. Let's go vertical because it's an emotional swing for Atlanta. But they may know that, so they may be passive.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they come up with.
Well, I know this, Coach.
I've given you a lot of direction here, haven't I?
You gave me a bunch, and I expect that from a coach. But the one guy that feels like he's off the hook is Marcus Colston, because he did not want to be the guy that had the ball go through his hands and him be the result of the interception.
Now he can exhale, right, Baldy?
That's what coaches do. They give you a lot, because they got to cover themselves.
2nd down and 10, and here is Drew Brees, and Brees is passed. The comeback pattern is caught for the first down by Lance Moore. And how effective has Lance Moore been as he's looking for his 6th game in a row with a touchdown? This time he gets 11 yards.
And how great is it to have a guy like Lance Moore, who was an undrafted free agent. Okay, here on the backside you can see, we talked earlier, Bolt, you talked about they were going to put bodies on Abraham. They're doing it right there.
They just bounced him right off our screen.
First down on the 17. Reggie Bush is the tailback. Reggie Bush gets the call, turns the corner, and will go out of bounds. Shy of the 10-yard line, they'll mark it at the 14. Chris Houston made the aggressive play and a pickup of 4.
But Baldy, to finish my point earlier about Lance Moore, here you got Lance Moore, who's an undrafted free agent. On the other side, you got Marcus Colson, the 7th-round draft choice.
Yeah.
This is the #1 passing offense in the league. How great is it with all the money we spend on drafting this and identifying that? You get a 7th-round draft choice and a guy that walks up off the street to be your top 2 guys.
Well, you can balance your cap a little bit easier when you have those guys in it.
You can pay your quarterback.
Second down and 6. Early in the second, here's Thomas trying to turn the corner, but the Falcons are equal to the task. Thomas does get something short of the first down, and a 5-yard pickup by Pierre Thomas. Boley leading the charge.
Baldy, we've had New Orleans a couple times, and you've commented on about their play calling on 3rd and short. For a team that is one of the best 3rd down conversion teams in the league, they're not real good on 3rd and short.
They just put Deuce McAllister in the game for the first time today, and they're active. He's activated today after being suspended earlier this week, and then having an injunction. He'll get the ball here in his 3rd down play.
Flurry of activity, Baldy, on Friday, so McAllister is in on 3rd down and 1, and here is McAllister, and very close, and one of the players has lost his helmet, and to bring up to date, Will Smith and Deuce McAllister, federal judge blocked the NFL from suspending 5 players on Friday for violating the league's anti-doping policy, using that banned diuretic. It's all you were hearing about, and so Smith and McAllister eligible to play today, but it looked like Deuce came up empty, and so it'll be another short yardage play.
Well, you know, when Reggie Bush is running as well as he is, and Pierre Thomas is running the ball well, you take a guy that hasn't had a carry, you know, since the second half last week, was suspended, didn't practice this week, and then you put the ball in his hands.
Right.
I don't know if he has the feel for the game at all at this point to go in there and get that yard.
It's 4th down and about a yard.
4th down and a yard.
Field goal. You read the lips right there. I think it was the length of that yard, a little bit more than a yard, that said, you know what, let's still get some points here rather than gamble.
And if it were shorter than that, you knew Sean Payton, he want to think about that one now. He's got that killer mentality, and I don't like taking 3 when I'm this close to a 7.
So Hartley will attempt a 26-yard field goal, and I think the Falcons will take something away from this for not letting the Saints get into the end zone with that kind of an offense. So here is Hartley from 26 yards out. And the kick is good, and the Saints now lead it 10-0 early in the second quarter. The Saints lead the Falcons. 10-play, 63-yard scoring drive, capped by a Garrett Hartley field goal, and he will kick off now. And deep for the Falcons is Jarius Norwood. Falcons are 3-3 on the road this year, and the rest of their schedule will be played in domes. And the kickoff by Hartley into the end zone, and it'll be run out by Norwood. And Norwood brings it out past the 25-yard line. Well, the Falcons have to start getting things together, Baldy.
Well, they haven't gotten off to a good start. I mean, visiting teams have not won in this division, but they haven't played well. You get the drop by Michael Turner, and then the interception on the throw to Roddy White by Jason David. That stopped that drive, and then third down stop there, and then an illegal procedure by Tyson Clabo, the right tackle, number 77. And right now the Falcons have been their own worst enemy early in this game.
There you see their team leaders on offense, and they will begin from the 26. Ryan looking for a receiver on his feet, and going deep, Roddy White downfield, and White comes up with it! Roddy White wrestles a Saint defender, and it was Roman Harper, and gets 59 yards out of it. What a play by both Ryan and White.
Well, the play was initiated by Ryan because he shows his athleticism. People don't think of him as that. Roddy White here working against a double team. Josh Bullock's on the top side. Now, you see Matt Ryan pumps to Roddy White, go deep. And he did, and then he was able to use his strength to fight off Roman Harper to be able to make that throw. Matt Ryan likes what he sees in that play.
And a first down on the 15 of New Orleans. And another play-action rollout, and the pass is caught by White, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
This is unusual now. For a right-handed quarterback, they bootleg Matt Ryan to the left just about more than anybody I've seen in this league. And one thing he'll do, fundamentally, watch him square his shoulders and then throw off one foot. Throw off that right foot to bounce himself out to get that nice line drive laser shot to Roddy White.
And it's a huge advantage for a play caller when you're comfortable calling your boots and waggles either direction, because typically you have a heavy tendency to go to the side of the quarterback's line.
2nd down and 1. And here is Turner. It'll be close. And it was Will Smith, Jason David coming up from the secondary. And no gain on the play. So now 3rd down and 1 coming up.
Well, on this particular drive, we just see 2 plays by Matt Ryan.
And it is a 1st down, apparently, on second thought. So it'll be 1st and goal, Baldy.
First set of downs, and we see Matt Ryan escape pressure, get out, set his feet, and actually direct traffic to get the ball down to Roddy White. And then we saw him bootleg to the left. His ability to move, to change the pocket, change his launching points has been huge.
Tight end Justin Peele going in motion. And here is Turner going up the middle and walking in for the touchdown. Michael Turner with a touchdown, and the Falcons come back here.
This is a design cutback here by Michael Turner. Fullback goes to the left. He's going to cut this thing back. Good job by Obi Moheli, blocking the backside, sealing it.
And set up by the previous play, because the backside end didn't block but released as though it was going to be the boot that they had just executed the play before.
Jason Elam with the extra point, and it's good. So Michael Turner's 14th rushing touchdown ties Jamal Anderson's Falcons record that he established back in 1998. Louisiana Superdome, the scene today as the Saints and the Falcons battle, and Atlanta coming back with a response touchdown after the Saints went for the field goal, which is interesting how quickly Atlanta came back with that.
Well, all elements. Great defense on a 3rd and short by New Orleans, or by Atlanta, and then the 4-play 74-yard drive for a touchdown.
Courtney Roby returns it as he gets to the 23-yard line. So Drew Brees coming out again. This is the #1 pass offense, prolific, and they've got Pierre Thomas running the ball. Reggie Bush missed 4 games, but back in stride. And of course, Drew Brees, who it all starts with #9.
Well, Baldy, we talked about how Atlanta was going to hold up to the emotional surges of it. We've seen that with the 3rd and 1 stop, the long drive. Now we're going to see if New Orleans can come back and regain emotional control of the game.
From the 23, 1st down. They take a run, and the pass caught by Jeremy Shockey. You're right, Baldy. He's a major player in this game so far.
He looks special right now. I mean, the way he's moving. Coach, here he is at the end of the line, just going to run that seam route. You see the linebackers cheating up here, Brooking and Lofton.
With a quick play action fake, because they've hit them on the draw from that same formation. Those linebackers stepped up because of it.
And that's why you've got to continue to fight to run the ball on this team. Even if it's not effective, even if you miss a 3rd and 1 run, stay with it.
21 yards for Shockey there. 1st down at the 44. Brees going posting. And saving the 1st down was Shevis Jackson. And for a game break, let's check in again with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Dick, Titans and Bengals, and Tennessee had been down until this. Kerry Collins hooking up with Ahmad Hall, 28 yards on the score for the ex-Marine, and it's a 7-6 lead. Tennessee on top for the first time today in the 2nd quarter. Back to Dick and Baldy, Brian and Laura.
That's a mouthful, Kurt. We're back, and it's 2nd down and 2. And Pierre Thomas rushes for the 1st down as he gets to the 45 of the Falcons.
You know, the #1 goal of the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, Brian Van Gorder, said, is we've got to limit the yards after the catch today. They thought they did that well a month ago when they won the game 34-20. And he was saying that with these receivers, with the passing game, the rhythm that Drew Brees can get into, we got to just tackle the catch. That time, Marcus Colston with the catch. they tackled him right away.
And they knocked down 15 balls and had 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You need that total package to stop an offense like the New Orleans Saints.
First down, Shockey went in motion to the slot on the right, but it's Reggie Bush here. And the ball is knocked away. Keith Brooking, good coverage downfield with Reggie Bush, breaks it up as we check in with Laura. Laura.
That was a good play by Keith Brooking, defending Reggie Bush coming out of the backfield.
Laura, your voice has gotten so much lower.
Little bass
Sounds
there.
like bowling a little bit.
Someone let go of Laura.
So it'll be second down and 10 at the 45. 10-7, the Saints lead the Falcons. And here is Pierre Thomas. Thomas inside the 30. Running the ball a lot better than they did last week. Eric Coleman, the free safety, initially missed. Thomas, who gets 18 yards.
Baldy, this is as simple as a screwdriver, straight downhill. We've not seen this type of direct play calling, direct running from the Saints in the games we've done previously.
Weak side lead draw. I mean, you just kind of show pass a little bit, let your fullback go and get a lead block on the weak side linebacker, which he did. Let the pass rush get sucked up and let Pierre Thomas come behind him.
Now Reggie Bush is back in there. First down. And Breeze going for Shockey. Shockey had beaten the defender downfield. He had a linebacker on him. And in fact, it was a correction. John Abraham was defending Shockey downfield. Goes incomplete, second and 10.
You got to change up and in the scheme that they have and do some different things with John Abraham. Running him down the field with Jeremy Shockey, Baldy, is not. I would not put that high on the list.
Well, let me say this. For a defense. But Sean Payton is like, give me that play again. Give me Abraham on Shockey one more time. I'm going to call it again.
Saints have already rushed for 112 yards. 10 below their season's mark. They're going to go to the air here. Big time pressure coming up the middle was John Abraham. And Breeze just had to get rid of it in a hurry. And we are going to make a second attempt to check in with Laura.
Much better. You guys hear me? Are we okay? I was talking this week to Lance Moore, who told me he had never seen Drew Brees more down than he has this week. He said Drew told him, I felt like I let the whole team down last week. And when Lance told him we all made mistakes, Drew said I was the only one who threw 3 interceptions. He said it was the first time ever he's had to pick up Drew because it's always Drew that picks up everyone else on this team. That's his role. But Lance said the one good thing is when Drew's that upset, it usually never happens again.
There's Lance Moore.
Never's a long time. Third down and 10, but we get the picture. He's quite a leader. And the pass is caught by Marcus Colston. First down inside the 10-yard line. And Marcus Colston, who struggled earlier.
Number 7,
and that'll come back.
10-yard
holding penalty against Jamal Brown, the left tackle, nullifies a 20-yard pickup.
Sean Payton said our number one job today is to handle John Abraham. Now, right here, Jamal Brown, the left tackle, has no help. So right now see that arm under, he takes him down to the ground, and John Abraham knows the flag came out. I did my job. We got a holding call, and we're backing the Saints up.
And when you're Drew Brees at quarterback and the way he's able to move so subtly in the pocket to extend those plays, to make those big plays down the field, that's putting a lot of pressure. And Jamal Brown's a pretty darn good tackle, but that's a lot of pressure to hold up against John Abraham one-on-one.
That could set you out of field goal range, a penalty like that. Third down and 20 down to the 37.
Now they put a tight end Shockey over there to help out.
And pressure from behind, picked up Reeves. Completes it to Lance Moore. And Moore gets out of bounds. Well, they are in field goal range, but it's fourth down and they need about 12.
Well, here's the solution. Let's double team John Abraham. And John Abraham said, sometimes I'll see as many as 4 guys over there trying to stop me. Now they get him down to the ground, allow Drew Brees to step up, but you lose an option in Shockey down the field when you're forced to keep him in to help out.
And that impact on an offense like the New Orleans Saints that would have loved to have had that receiver out is huge.
Garrett Hartley, who made a 26-yarder, will attempt this from 46 yards out to add to the Saints' lead, and he goes. Second field goal for Hartley, who had 2 40-plus field goals in bad weather in Tampa Bay. 13-7 Saints. Back in New Orleans, 6:10 remaining in the first half, and a 13-7 Saints lead. 9 plays, 49 yards, and once again the Falcons halted the drive by the Saints and forced them into settling for 3. Hartley will be kicking off to Jarius Norwood. From the 3-yard line, Norwood brings it out to the 24.
Well, you got to love, Baldy, the way both teams respond emotionally to adversity. Atlanta, even though they not things gone their way, you know, it's like what else can happen to us? But they're down by 6 points.
Well, you know, this division, though, Brian, the big picture, the division is very good. The #1 rated offense in football is 6-6. The New Orleans Saints, the worst team in the division right now. I mean, Atlanta is a quality team, and just now, I mean, Pam Oliver talked about in the pregame show today. People are finding out.
From the 23, first down. Norwood is the running back, but Matt Ryan looking to put it in the air and lofts it. And the pass is ruled a catch by Roddy White and a first down. Well, a lot of teams will gamble on quarterbacks, and those that did for Troy Aikman, Drew Bledsoe, Peyton Manning, opening day starters, and took their team to a Super Bowl championship. What about Joe Flacco in Baltimore, Matt Ryan here in Atlanta? Both are 8-4 and playing the right cards apparently.
And keeping the interceptions and turnovers down to a minimum.
First down at the 37. After the pickup of 12, there's Norwood off the right side. And a good play made by Jonathan Vilma after a pickup of 2.
Well, you know, in Baltimore right now, Joe Flacco be seen tonight against the Redskins. 9 interceptions here, a run-based offense. Matt Ryan here threw the 1 today to get him to 7 interceptions. Has fumbled once, but has done a great job of taking care of the ball, yet still able to make the big plays down the field.
2nd and 8. And the play clock, plenty of time on it for Matt Ryan.
This is what he's so good at. Just engineering the offense at the line of scrimmage, knowing exactly what play he wants and how much time he has left.
And the give is to Norwood. Norwood with a first down in midfield. Boy, how did he learn that so fast?
Well, last week, and here you can see it was a no huddle. They kicked into a no huddle, just ran a delayed draw here, straight down the field. Last week, or 2 weeks ago against Carolina, when they had to stem the tide of the Carolina Panthers, they went to no huddle with their young quarterback. They're doing the same thing here.
Okay, well, this is called the sugar huddle. Just calling the plays at the line of scrimmage, impervious to the noise and the surroundings, and the poise to operate.
From midfield, first down for Matt Ryan. And his pass caught by the rookie Harry Douglas. And Douglas is out of bounds at the 22, covered by Josh Bullock's 28 on this play.
Well, this is the throw here to the corner. He gets man-to-man coverage, and he's got the leverage on Thomas there. And his ability right now at the line of scrimmage to operate this, to give him a little bit of a lift, is not many guys can do this in the league.
And again, directing traffic with the no huddle. A rookie, looks like he's been around for 10 years. First down, nearly 3.5 to go in the first half. And a running play dialed up to Norwood, but the Saints are there. And no gain on that play.
Baldy, the Saints are pretty straightforward in their defensive package. Some would say maybe a little too straightforward. And that's part of what's allowing Matt Ryan to do what he wants at the line of scrimmage. They've got to change up their looks a little bit, make it a little tougher for the rookie.
Ball control practically even on the rollout. And Roddy White with the catch and knocked out of bounds, stopping the clock at 3:06 with Young. Remember, Randall Gay came out of the game early, the cornerback for the Saints, who had lost 3 of their starters since the start of the year, and Osama Young has played well in his stead.
You know, talking to Mike Malarkey, the offensive coordinator, he said that Matt Ryan took the offense this week and went over the no-huddle offense, the 2-minute drill in front of the entire offense, and laid it all out for him, exactly what he wants, the looks he's looking for, and he wants the guys to do. He said it was like a coach standing up there in front of the team.
Great maturity in his rookie year. Now looking at 3rd down and 3, Baldy, from the 15. And here comes the pressure, the pass, and a great catch by Jenkins on the high throw, and it'll be 1st and goal inside the 5. A bullet thrown by Ryan, a 12-yard first down play.
So far, we haven't heard from Michael Jenkins. Now a big third down conversion. This is a big, good-looking receiver, 6'4", 215 pounds, a first-round draft choice out of Ohio State. We've seen, obviously, Roddy White, big #1 receiver to go to. You've also seen Harry Douglas. You throw in now Michael Jenkins, who's gotten better and better every week. That's a pretty good trio of receivers.
And the thing is, Brian, we're talking about Falcon receivers. We never talked about Falcon receivers. They were always the problem. Now with the quarterback, these guys are emerging.
And a timeout called by the Saints. And, of course, Pam Oliver profiled the Atlanta great year. And it was the first time we really had seen Tom Dimitroff, the new general manager, who, along with Mike Smith, drafting what could be a franchise quarterback.
That's Terry Robisky, longtime coach in this league, one-time interim head coach in Washington, who coaches the receivers and has been extremely hard on Roddy White to keep getting better and better, and he has responded.
1st and goal from the 3. 8th play of the drive. Turner tripped up, but gets to the 2. It'll be 2nd down and goal, and the clock stopping again, and the Saints with their 2nd timeout.
See, Michael Turner's got that splint on his right thumb. Asked him if that bothers him when he carries the ball. He likes carrying it in his left hand anyways, and he said it's always high and tight. Last week, he fumbled. He said it wasn't a fumble. He said he should have challenged the play. He was down when it happened. Over 340 carries with just one fumble. This guy protects the football.
And when we talked about that one fumble, he burred up a little bit.
He did, yeah.
He wanted to make sure we understood that wasn't a fumble.
Look how a team can turn things around.
Right. You got to look at this franchise right now as the model franchise for any team that is struggling in this league, that it can be done. It can be done in a year if you do the right things, and it always happens. It always helps to have a franchise back and a franchise quarterback.
And we keep talking about it. Was there a team in worse emotional condition at the end of the year than the Atlanta Falcons last year?
I don't believe so.
2nd down and goal. Ball at the 2. And there's Ryan. And throws it away. And a souvenir for a fan.
Smart, though. Smart. He ran out of real estate. They had the rollout covered. He extended the play as long as he could. And he said, you know what? 2nd down, we'll go to 3rd down to try to make the play.
Michael Jenkins, to come back to Michael, this is a place that Michael Jenkins needs to show up. Big physical receiver, can go up vertical for the ball, looking for the matchups. Or you see Roddy White down here, one-on-one with Jason David.
With a lot of room.
Big play here in this first half. 3rd down and goal. And there is the fade pass, and it is caught by Ryan Finneran for the touchdown. A jump ball against Usama Young, and Finneran came down with it.
Well, Brian, we mentioned the options of Roddy White and Mike Jenkins, but you can't forget the tallest receiver on their team, Brian Finneran, and always a red zone threat. I think he got both feet down.
And he's got control. The fans are kind of
they want everything.
Wolfing up a little bit, and that's gotten Sean Payton to think about it.
They're right at the feet.
Yeah, and when you go down to the 2-yard line to throw the red flag in front of the official, you're trying to make the point.
This is on the opposite feet.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field.
2,
the receiver got 2 feet
control,
down inbound.
Down. Yeah, that's a touchdown.
Well, it was almost like Brian caught that pass and got it down in slow motion. 1 foot down, 2 feet down, and they made sure he squeezed the ball into the body.
And Mike Smith talked about how important it was to have leadership in every group. And for the receiver group, Brian Finneran is that guy. He's got a young group with Roddy White, Michael Jenkins, Harry Douglas. Brian Finneran is that veteran for him among that group. On the offensive line, it's McClure, the center, who's having a great year.
I think Sean Payton was upset, thought that Finneran might have pushed off Now,
well, you can't
No,
challenge
Flag's
that.
Flag's not going to help you on that one.
but
That's why I think he went all the way down to the 2
He wants to
throw the red flag, because he was making a point. He's none too happy about anything that went on in
Well,
this
I don't
play.
know if he thought both feet got down. He sees the knee land down out of bounds, but already the foot was dragged. The toe was down. We talked to Matt Ryan yesterday about his preparation during the week. And even coming back from San Diego late on Monday night, 40 players were in working out on Monday and Tuesday. He had all the receivers in there watching film.
Well, they did a good job of it. Let's see. Yeah, that's what Sean Payton was upset about, that right arm pushing off, and it's not going to change if both feet are on.
After reviewing the play, the receiver got both feet down in bounds. It is a touchdown. New Orleans will be charged their third and final timeout, and they are now out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
So Finneran with the big touchdown catch as the call stands.
And that's worth a challenge, even if you know you're wrong. Maybe there's something, because this is a big play. This was a big emotional swing for them. To hold him to 3 would have been huge.
But no challenges the rest of the game, Brian.
Jason Elam looking to give the Falcons the lead, and he does. It's 14-13. The Falcons lead the Saints, and Matt Ryan with a touchdown pass. Let's get to know the rookie from Boston College.
I was a shooting guard on a high school basketball team. I got an elbow kind of right to the face, took a bunch of stitches, and had tape around my head. Was made fun of in school for the next week for looking like Rambo. One of the things I did during the preseason was kind of stand in with the musical Oklahoma. I can't really sing, so I just kind of stood there pretty awkward.
You know what's interesting about Matt Ryan is that the Falcons got him because they won a coin flip. It wasn't automatic. Kansas City and Oakland and Atlanta had to flip a coin. The Falcons won it and got the 3rd pick and took Matt Ryan. Could be the franchise quarterback. And you have to go back to 1970. The last time this happened with a great quarterback, when the Steelers and the Bears wound up with the worst record in the league. They had a coin flip. The Steelers won and selected Terry Bradshaw.
Nice to win those coin flips.
Yeah.
And to get the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, going forward, you have to have a coin flip coach now.
Yes.
Right, we've got special.
We got coaches
a cap
for everything
guy,
else.
Right, time management guy. You got to have that good coin flip coach caller.
How about Matt Ryan telling us that his brother was a quarterback for his high school team this year, Penn Charter, separated his shoulder, so his cousin came in and finished up the season. The Ryan family going to put out a few more.
Caden's kick, and Roby will down it in the end zone, touchback, and the Saints will start from the 20-yard line, and a tight game. We've seen balance on both sides. Great play by White, and that 59-yard catch was a gem. And then, of course, you got to talk about Sean Payton twice going for field goals.
Well, the balance we talked about. Sean Payton was committed to getting balance, and here's why. When you throw for over 600 times on a season, it does not bode well for you. You can see the numbers there over the last 10 years. Only one team has gone to the playoffs throwing the ball more than 600 times. They're clearly on that pace. They're trying to get balance today.
Saints will start from the 20-yard line. Reggie Bush, he had a 43-yard run earlier that set up a touchdown. He caught a 5-yard TD pass and gets 7 yards on first down.
And that takes discipline, Baldy, to go back to the point about the 600 throws. When you have a quarterback as efficient as Drew Brees, and you're averaging 7-8 yards a throw, every time you run the ball, you're losing yards.
Yeah.
But you've got to have that balance. Sean Payton knows that, and he knows if they're going to sweep these 4 games you talked about, Dick, they're going to have that balance.
And we're down to the 2-minute warning here. 2nd and 3 coming up when we return to New Orleans. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Falcons lead the Saints by 1. It'll be a first down on the New Orleans 28. They are out of timeouts. Reeves on first down. Completes the pass to Shockey. First down. What about the Atlanta Falcons here, who it looked like the Saints had the momentum of this game, now coming back the way they did?
You talked about the road record in this division. Home teams hugely dominant. For a young team to respond the way they did and put it on their quarterback with a no-huddle offense.
And the pass caught by Marcus Colston. And of course, you've seen the Atlanta Falcons many times, and the question is, how long does the balance go for the Saints?
Well, I think that, right now, they just haven't finished drives. I think it's worked for them today. We'll see what happens in this 2-minute drive that Drew Brees is engineering. But I think that's the only way that they can win.
Henderson with his first catch of the game. And remember, no timeouts remaining. And a first down to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 18. And if anyone can manage the 2-minute drill without a timeout, be Brees.
Yeah, well, we saw Matt Ryan do it very well. Drew Brees just clocked it to stop the clock. Gives up a down, but they can now reset. They can huddle. Get a couple plays here from Sean Payton as Drew Brees now listens. And he's been pretty well protected today. But that's what the balance will do when you're running the ball like they are.
And Atlanta's aware of that. We saw last week, Baldy, with New Orleans at Tampa. Obviously a great defense. And what was it? It's the end of the half, a 2-minute drill. Drew Brees taking the length of the field to score.
Second down and 10 for the Saints on the 42 of Atlanta. Make the handoff. Here's Lance Moore. On the quick, Moore. Turn it on. Goes out of bounds. Stops the clock after getting a first down to the 27. 15 yards.
Sean Payton said that Lance Moore is the smartest receiver they have. He could have taken that ball up the middle, but would have been tackled in the field of play. The clock would have run. He shortened the run after the catch to get out of bounds.
And want to remind you that coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy, scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker. 43 seconds. Robert Meacham in the lineup for the first time, number 17 to the right. Brees is not looking there right now. And his pass is an open receiver, Lance Moore, who had beaten the defenders downfield inside the 10.
Well, he had Chris Houston down here, Coach. He fell. He had a wide open Lance Moore and just overshoots him.
Drew Brees, obviously in this situation, would love to have the throwback, but when you saw Drew, he was under pressure, stepped up ever so subtly to avoid the rush, but it did throw off his timing. Otherwise, that's a guaranteed completion.
Saints have no timeouts left. Brees 4 for 6 on this drive, and in field goal range, and the running play to Reggie Bush. Bush is put down after a gain of 1.5 by Michael Boley, the outside linebacker, and the clock continues to run under a half a minute. It'll be third down.
And this is where those loss of timeouts kill you.
All right, third down and 8. Brees steps up, throws it. Gregory Henderson with the catch, and time running out. They've got to line up and clock it. And they do with 3 seconds remaining. And what an impressive drive by Drew Brees to get the New Orleans Saints to the 7-yard line, and Hartley will come on to try to give New Orleans the lead again.
What fantastic quarterback play on both sides here today. I mean, excellent. I mean, that is a tight throw between Mike Boley and Lauren Malloy here to get this ball in. Then to get up there, get everybody set to clock it for this opportunity.
18 yards on that play, Baldy, and now Garrett Hartley will try to make it 3 for 3. 25-yard field goal, and the kick is good as time runs out, and the Saints and the Falcons living up to its billing, and the field goal giving New Orleans the lead once again, 16-14. On the third field goal of the first half by Garrett Hartley.
Baldy, you said it. We're seeing two great teams with great quarterback play today. This is fun to watch.
When you're watching quarterback play at this level, you can't help but have an exciting game, and great for television, great for the fans, because the ball's moving and the offenses are moving up and down the field.
To see, obviously, Drew Brees, we saw it last week. We talked about it earlier against Tampa. To see him to do the same thing here. Go back to the point, though, the late challenge down there, which was as much out of frustration as anything else. How much would you have loved to have that time
shot.
Out? Just give me one more shot to the end zone.
One more shot to the end zone.
And a 73-yard scoring drive in 2 minutes and 13 seconds and no timeouts really speaks volumes for this offense and for Drew Brees. And here at the Superdome, we have a tight game. The Saints were up by as many as 10-0, and then 13-7. Finneran's touchdown reception from Matt Ryan gave the Falcons their only lead of the first half before Hartley's 25-yarder as time ran out in the first half, giving the Saints the 2-point lead. And of course, you know the importance of this game. New Orleans at 6-6. They need to win 4 remaining games, and then they still need help. And the Falcons, with a win today, would be 1 game behind the winner of tomorrow night's game between Carolina and Tampa Bay.
And Baldy, when you talk about New Orleans, we talk about they got to sweep the last 4 games. These are winnable games.
That's the end of the first half. Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa halftime report after these messages.
Visa, no matter how you prepare for game day, Visa is the way to go.
And we're getting ready for the start of the third quarter. The Falcons will get the ball first as the Saints lead 16-14. Garrett Hartley, who had 3 field goals in the first half, kicking to Jarius Norwood. Saints at one point led 10-0. Falcons had a 1-point lead before that field goal ending the half, with Norwood running up at the 11. At around the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the second quarter to that challenge, coach, by Sean Payton on what was the touchdown of Finneran, which cost him challenges in the last time out.
I'm going to talk like a coach and talk out of both sides of my mouth. In that, I think it was an emotional challenge. I think he saw the push off and he wanted to vent somehow. It was worth a challenge in terms of, well, maybe they see something and maybe you keep the score. It was a 3rd down play, but it cost them because they'd have loved to have that timeout.
And they had a 4th down and 1 at one point also, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they settled for 2 field goals. They didn't score. And so while they are up by 2 points, they could be up much more.
Matt Ryan and a one-handed catch by Norwood, who was hit only 1 yard on that play. Let's take a look now at the first half stats, and you'll see that the Saints, with 122 yards rushing, already equals their season high for a game.
Well, and that's what they were fighting for today. They said if they were going to win today, Coach came out from the very beginning, they had to work to get balance. They've got the balance now. They've actually run it more than they've thrown it. Now that they have to finish these drives and not settle for field goals.
2nd down and 9. Lost ball on the center exchange and recovered by the Falcons, but they'll lose about 1.5 yards.
Now, Matt Ryan has only fumbled once this year. It looked like he was coming out a little early that time. It was lucky to get back on that football. The best thing that Matt Ryan has done in his 13 games so far. You see him just leaning, once they start that lean, it's hard to get back inside. Best thing he has done is taken care of the football. Now he's laid it on the ground once on the fumble exchange. He threw the costly early interception.
3rd down and 11. Giving ground, and the pass is dropped by Jason Snelling. And right now, let's go down to the field in Laura Oakland.
Thanks, Nick. Mike Smith was saying at halftime he's happy how the offense is starting to move defensively. That's really where he wanted to talk. He said he feels good about what they're doing on 3rd downs, but giving up way too much yards 1st and 2nd. Sean Payton said the key for the second half for them offensively is also the 3rd downs. He said Falcons defense isn't sitting back in cover 2 like they were in the first quarter. He said we got to keep that balance going to take advantage.
All right, Laura. Michael Kanan punting on 4th down. Reggie Bush at the 23. Flag goes down. Penalty marker on the play. And Reggie Bush does a good job of getting back after giving up several yards, but there is a flag.
Reggie Bush, we talked about earlier in the game, that he looks like a new man.
Yes,
Baldy. We saw
Fresh.
him in the Carolina game when he went out and had been dealing with some injuries up to that point as well.
During the kick, holding, number 41 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, New Orleans, timeout.
Roman Harper against Eric Weems. Got the jerseys dragged and down to the ground.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By the Hyundai Sales Event. 'Tis the season to be smart with your money. By T. Rowe Price, providing investment management excellence for over 70 years. Invest with confidence. And by the new AT&T, your world delivered.
And back here in New Orleans, the Superdome, the host of countless Super Bowls. The scene here as the Saints. Remember that every division game has been won by the home team this year in the NFC South. First down at the 13. Pierre Thomas, the tailback for Drew Brees. And he cannot hold on. Incomplete pass. And covered by Chris Houston.
This was a check by Drew Brees on man-to-man coverage by Chris Houston on the outside. Just going to his biggest target, largest target here. Back shoulder. Comes down out of bounds. No more force out in this league.
Would that have been a catch last year, Baldy?
Probably. They probably would have said he threw him out of bounds there. And they changed that rule. No such thing as a force out. Wanted to clean it up. Make it real enforceable at this point.
Second down and 10. Reggie Bush checks back in. Going out as a receiver. And the pass to Bush. And Reggie Bush slides off a would-be defender and is downed at the 19 by Chris Houston, getting about 7. And Kurt Menefee with a game update.
Well, the Detroit Lions still looking for that first win, taking on Minnesota. Chester Taylor in the third quarter, 17-yard score, gives Minnesota its first lead of the day at 10-6. And just in case you guys did not hear, Gus Frerotte out with a back injury. Tavares Jackson now at quarterback. Dick and the Killer Bees.
Well, very interesting.
They're always interesting when you've benched a quarterback and now you've got to come back to him to win a game or maybe finish out the season.
Third down and 4. Lance Moore going in motion. And Drew Brees with time. Trying to throw to Moore, but the pass is incomplete. And Chris Houston, very busy on this first series by the Saints, knocks it away.
Now watch Chris Houston. He's going to take Devery Henderson down. Now he's going to fall off in his own. Now watch this timing of this hit. And this is where this team has improved. With Dominic Foxworth, Chris Houston, Chevis Jackson, these guys have challenged receivers, laid hits on receivers like that, and have stepped up their overall game.
Harry Douglas back. Glenn Pakalak to kick. Douglas buried as he caught it. Lee Torrance. And the cruise ship's not very far away here in New Orleans. Lake Pontchartrain.
Not too far away. A beautiful day.
Gulf of Mexico.
That's where we're at.
First down at the 26 for Matt Ryan and the Falcons, who trailed by 2. Michael Turner off the left side gets 1 yard thanks to Scott Shanley.
They're building that box much more effectively. New Orleans is, Baldy, like we talked about, because Atlanta started out just shoving this thing down their throat, and they're really starting to bring the safeties up in a much more aggressive way. Josh Bullock filling in for the injured Case Fajarn, and Roman Harper coming up in to run stop the box.
Remember, Mike McKenzie had the broken kneecap. Tracy Porter, another starter. They're out earlier. Second down and 9. Norwood trying to get Norwood, and the flag goes down as Norwood is stopped about 2.5 yards from first down yardage.
Yeah, it's going to be hold on the edge, on the outside against Jason David. Anytime you see a guy trying to pull away.
Holding, number 12 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Jenkins on David.
It's only the second penalty of the day by the Falcons. These are drive killers here. Just that hold there.
That last little tug, it's hard. A guy all of a sudden, you've got inside position. Now the runner bounces outside, he breaks away. It's hard not to reach out and grab that guy.
And the problem is the play is designed to go to the right. It's not designed to cut back, and you're sort of inside leverage, and you're just trying to hold him once you feel Norwood coming back to you.
So instead of third and short, it's second down and 14. Norwood going in motion to the right. There he is. And the handoff to Snelling. Jason Snelling gets hit again, and can only find his way to the 25-yard line. Scott Shanley with the push, limiting Snelling to 3.
You know, these two teams played a month ago. So the game plans, the familiarity with each team, even though they're in the division, they already know each other so well. Now, it's even more so. The things that just happened a month ago is still fresh in their minds, the personnel, the things they like to do in each situation.
Particularly on a third down. That's where your biggest focus is going to come from one game to the next.
They need 11 yards. Flag goes down, and the pass is caught at the 42. Penalty marker down from behind the line of scrimmage. Roddy White with the reception. And this could be a big one here.
Holding, number 63 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
That's Justin Blaylock, the left guard, and he nullifies what would be a first down and 18-yard pickup.
Well, they were just about to overcome the first hold by Michael Jenkins. To overcome 2 holding calls in one drive is, I don't know what the percentage that is, Coach.
No.
That happened.
And nothing stems the drive quicker than a penalty like that. To overcome 2, these odds are prohibitive. We'll see.
Third down and 21. Back at the 15.
Here's their star outside having a big day. Roddy White.
And Matt Ryan on the run completes the pass to Roddy White, and they get the first down. Talk about an ad-lib play. 26 yards, and the Falcons on 3rd and long make it here.
Brian, we talked last week about Garcia's ability to step up in the pocket but keep his eyes downfield. Matt Ryan, for a rookie, just keeps impressing. Well, totally under control.
Ryan, forget about being a rookie. That's composure for any quarterback in this league.
You're exactly
right.
To
be able to step right into the eye of the storm and be able to execute like that with his head down the field.
First down at the 40-yard line, and here is Turner. And the flag goes down. A false start call coming up against the Falcons.
False start, number 87 offense. 5-yard penalty.
Justin Peel, the tight end. Roddy White came in 2nd in the league in receiving yards with over 1,000, has already 139 yards on 7 receptions.
And Baldy, you said it earlier, you find yourself typically with a young player qualifying. Well, for a rookie, you're exactly right. You take that off now.
No.
For a NFL quarterback, this is impressive.
First down and 15 after the penalty. 3rd penalty on this drive against the Falcons. Bryant goes underneath to Norwood, hit immediately. And Vilma right there, gain of 2 yards. Checking in with Laura once again.
Guys, continuing the conversation about Roddy White, I was talking to him, and he told me the past few years really messed with his confidence, hearing about how the wide receivers were killing the quarterbacks on this team. They couldn't catch. He said waking up Sunday mornings last year, it was hard. He said for the first time, it felt like going to a job. I said, how about Sundays this year? He said, I bounce out of bed with a smile on my face. He said it's the best season he's ever had on this level. Most fun.
No wonder.
They need to boot and play action a little bit here, don't they, Baldy? Because they're really crashing down on the run.
2nd and 13 with the empty backfield, and the pass complete to Norwood. Jarius Norwood brings it out to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 5. Will Smith putting some pressure on Matt Ryan on that play.
This is the first time that Matt Ryan has been hit all day. This is after the play. They double team Will Smith. He still spins out, gets just a late ankle pull on Matt Ryan. Last week against San Diego, not sacked, only pressure twice the whole day. A lot of it is Matt Ryan being able to get rid of the ball on time.
3rd down and 5 on the Falcon 46. Ryan's pass in a crowd, and Finneran. Ryan Finneran makes the catch and a first down between 2 defenders into Saint territory to the 48, getting 6 critical yards.
That play ended up right in front of Sean Payton, and Sean Payton can't believe this ball got completed. But this instinct here, Coach, right now under pressure to back up to buy just a little bit of time and then pull that trigger, I don't even know if there was a window there.
And not to bail out and run. You know, how many guys have we seen in the same situation now? In order to buy time, would go bailing out one side to the other instead of having the poise to stay in the pocket.
Lee Torrance and Jonathan Vilma defending to no avail against Finneran. Here comes the pressure on Ryan and fires it. Caught by Michael Jenkins. Under extreme duress, a 21-yard pass by Matt Ryan.
Now, this is supposed to be a bootleg to the right. Now, watch Michael Jenkins here. He's the late crosser on this play. The original play was Matt Ryan bootlegging out to the right here to throw across, but he sees the pressure. Now he adjusts, and he throws the ball where he's going to be as he's getting driven to the ground.
Two tight ends in the lineup for the Falcons. First down on the Saints 27. Here's Michael Turner straight ahead inside the 25. Vilma there.
Well, I'm getting a sense you don't think Matt Ryan's very good.
You know, I'm trying not
That's
to
my
say.
impression too, you know, Coach.
I'm trying not to say right now that this is as good a quarterback play as there is in the game right now. His ability to improvise, to throw the stick throws, run the hurry-up offense, and he's doing it on the road against a division opponent.
And he's doing it on a series in which there were 2 holding penalties and a false start.
Yes, overcoming all of those negative plays.
Second down and 6 on the 23. Give it to Turner. And just getting back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Now, just watching that run, I mean, it didn't gain any yards on the play. He said no gain. I'm just watching Matt Ryan. The ability for Mike Mularkey, coach, it just take the pressure off the quarterback. To not have to follow up one great pass after another. When you know he's capable of doing it, kind of let him take a breather. Just rest. Let him hand the ball off, reset, and not put it all on him all the time.
Offensive coordinator has a gem in this rookie quarterback who's 5 for 5 on this drive. Third down and 6. The 11th play of the drive. Matt Ryan's pass, and it's caught by Roddy White inside the 10. We've seen all the throws from Matt Ryan today.
Boy, he pulled the trigger on this one. And this is a clinic right here. Step up, high on the toes. Look at that throw. I mean, Lee Torrance is all over him. And this is, you know, the Saints even said over the last month watching him, since the last time they saw him, Scott Shanley said the thing that impresses him about Matt Ryan is he's becoming more accurate with the ball.
14-yard gain, first and goal. They'll run it to Turner. And Turner will pick up a couple.
They seem to, in this situation, Matt Ryan now, because we talked earlier about his ability to go to his right and his left, particularly in this down and distance, to want to get him outside the pocket a little bit. We've seen the last couple plays, pressure has started to get there. He's made some great plays stepping away from it. They may need to get him outside the pocket to make a play here.
Second down and goal at the 8. Turner again, and he dives close to the pond.
You know, I get the feeling that Gary Gibbs and Joe Vitt on the defensive side of New Orleans, they're afraid to blitz Matt Ryan right now. I mean, they're rushing 4, so he's getting some time, even though the pressure's getting there late. Joe Vitt on the screen there. But Matt Ryan against the blitz has been so good at finding it, seeing it, and then exploiting the man coverage.
And that's a coordinator's first nightmare, bringing pressure and not getting home.
Over 8 minutes, now 9 minutes on this drive. 14th play coming up. Third and goal. And here's Ryan, the time. And off the fingertips of Douglas. He was in the back of the end zone. And fourth down coming up, and the field goal team will come on. But what a drive this has been for the Atlanta Falcons. They were in position to take the touchdown, and now a field goal will put them in front.
And took a lot of clock off the board, Baldy, so as not to put the ball back in the hands of Drew Brees.
23-yard attempt for Jason Elam. And the Falcons have regained the lead. 17-16. 3:06 remaining third quarter.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Burger King. Have it your way.
Falcons are up over the Saints 17-16. They got 3 in a 15-play, 69-yard, 9-minute, and 15-second drive. They overcame 25 yards in penalties. Converted 3 third downs, including a 3rd and 21. That's remarkable. Courtney Roby does not get it out to the 15-yard line, and we will take a break here in sunny New Orleans with the Falcons up by 1. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Well, this was a game in which the Falcons had the running game. They passed for 85 yards more than the Saints. The Saints, with the #1 pass offense, have rushed for 43 more than Atlanta. Go figure. First down, Drew Brees from the 13. Second down coming up.
You know, one of the featured sets of the New Orleans Saints is their empty set, where they get 5 wide receivers, and it's just Drew Brees in a shotgun with 5 offensive linemen. They haven't run it today because they were worried about John Abraham, and they've done a pretty good job of taking care of Abraham today, either double teaming him, chipping him, and those kind of things. So that's why they've stayed away from it. When they're in that empty, Abraham gets a one-on-one rush with the offensive tackle, and he wins those battles most of the time.
2nd and 10. Reggie Bush slicing in on the inside handoff. John Abraham making the tackle.
Well, let's watch him in the pass rush game today against Jamal Brown. He comes inside on a little flash stunt. Here he comes outside. He's double teamed by Shockey and Jamal Brown. And there's a flash stunt there with Jonathan Babineau. He likes to get in that 4-point stance. He's a great track athlete coming out of South Carolina. It feels like he gets a better takeoff. But when you have to commit all that attention to him, it does free things up for other players.
3rd down and 2. Reeves lost it to Reggie Bush. He's got the first down. And gets to about the 37-yard line. John Stinchcomb, the right tackle, with a big block there. Slow getting up his Bush after a 15-yard gain.
And this kind of play is just lethal to the rush that you're talking about, Baldy. When they had a rush on from the linebacker off that right side, to be able to just drop that over the outstretched hands of a rush end or linebacker into the hands of a player like Reggie Bush is pretty powerful.
Well, it slows the rush down, Brian. I mean, eventually it will, because you want to get after Brees. He's a hard guy to sack, and then you sucker punch him by throwing it over the top after you come with pressure.
And a timeout called by the Saints. We'll take a break. 1:25 to go in the 3rd. Back here at the Louisiana Superdome, Dick Stockton along with Brian Baldinger, Brian Billick, and Laura Oakman. It'll be first down and 10 at the 36 with 1:25 to go after the Saints use their first timeout. Pierre Thomas. First down to midfield, 14 yards.
Different styles of coaching here, Baldy. You've got Sean Payton, who is the offensive coordinator as well, the play caller, which does draw you into a lot of situations where you're so focused on that, sometimes the bigger application of the game. On the other side, you got Mike Smith. He's delegated the coordinator's job to different people. He is truly a head coach in the complete sense of the word.
First down in midfield. Thomas, after the 14-yard gain, remains in there. Brees' pass deflected away. Tried to get it to Marcus Colston. And for a game break, Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Looking for that first win, the Lions go to their best player. Dante Culpepper hooking up with Calvin Johnson. Johnson goes over the 1,000-yard mark for this catch, his 10th touchdown on the year. This one from 70 yards out, and the Lions lead the Vikings 13-10. Could this be the day, Dick, Baldy, and Coach?
What do you think?
Well, they
just got to win one.
Closest game this year was a 12-10 victory over Detroit.
Second down and 10. At midfield, Breeze in traffic, and he'll go down. And that'll be Chauncey Davis, a 1-yard pickup before the tackle, and that could be the last play of the third quarter.
Well, look at the coverage out here. There's Chris Houston on Lance Moore. That's pretty good coverage there. They have gotten anything behind him. Devery Henderson at the bottom. They run a little rub route. Keith Brooking takes Shockey out. There was no place for Drew Brees to go. That's the classic coverage sack, that last play.
And that'll be the end of the third quarter here in New Orleans with the score. The Falcons 17, the Saints 16. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
Well, the Saints got on the board early in the first quarter, the Reggie Bush touchdown, and then Michael Turner and Brian Finneran got 2 touchdowns, and then a field goal by Jason Elam in the third quarter has got the Falcons up 17-16 as we start the fourth quarter.
It'll be third down and 9. Saints on the Falcon 49. Pressure on Breeze. Pass is caught. First down. Devery Henderson. Chris Houston cuts him off at the pass and out of bounds at the 13. A 36-yard play. A big one starting this fourth quarter.
Devery Henderson has kind of been absent from the offense for a while. He has been their big play guy in terms of the speed down the field. Now, there's a lot of ways to get that big play. Here, just a little quick hitch, working across the field. Now you can see the explosiveness on the speed. He has been absent the last month or so from the offense. This is the first time we've really seen him impact the game.
And also absent has been the yards after the catch there. That's the first time that they really got away from the Falcons.
First down at the 13. Falcons leading by 1 over the Saints. Here's Reggie Bush. And they gang up on him, led by Chauncey Davis, number 92. Well, we had the story last week when Sean Payton's team is trailing after 3 quarters. The Saints 0-17. Now, during the week, of course, they said that there are times that they have been leading, then trailing, and then coming back to win a come-from-behind game, but never when they were down going into the fourth.
And one of those games, of course, was the playoff win against the Eagles 2 years ago right here in New Orleans.
Second down and 9 from the 12. Colson coming toward the line. Breeze is pass. Overthrown. Lance Moore. Flag is down. Penalty marker there at the 2-yard line.
John Abraham's helmet came flying off on that play.
Illegal contact, number 24 of the defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's on Dominic Foxworth, and the shaken up Saint is their left tackle, Jamal Brown. He is unable to get up at around the 20-yard line.
And Baldy, I'm at a loss when you look at the graphic we just saw, 0-17. Here we can see the pass a little bit high. The contact must have come before or just coming off the line, obviously. There was no real contact there. Plus, it was an overthrown ball. But I want to talk about that 0-17 when we come back, because if there's a group that shouldn't be the case, it would be the #1 offense.
Today's game is sponsored by Subway, home of the famous always made fresh $5 footlong. By Lowe's, for all your home improvement needs, Lowe's. Let's build something together. By Budweiser American Ale. Discover the robust flavor of Budweiser American Ale. And by the all-new 09 F-150. It's not just a new truck, it's a new F-150.
Back here in New Orleans, it'll be first and goal at the 7. Zach Street, number 64, replacing Jamal Brown at left tackle. Here's Reggie Bush, and he is hit immediately by Michael Boley from behind. And maybe a yard.
Yeah, now the 0-17, if there were ever a team, you're talking about the #1 offense in the league, you're talking about a quarterback that is about or possibly on a record pace. I don't know how to explain this, Baldy. How is it a team like that?
Well, the #1 offense is based on yards, but #1 offense has come back. This year, they lost at Washington, at Denver, with chances to come back against Minnesota here in the fourth, with chances to come back and win the fourth quarter, and they couldn't get it done.
Second goal, the goal from the 7, the pass to Pierre Thomas. Touchdown, Saints! And a 2-point conversion coming up with a 5-point New Orleans lead.
Well, Pierre Thomas is going to slip out here into a screen. It's a great call. Slows that rush down a little bit. They get Jari Evans out front along with Jonathan Goodwin. They picked off a little bit of interference, and Pierre Thomas is becoming a touchdown maker in this offense.
And it was a great call because typically you're going to set in everybody's going to be in the end zone in a 4-cross zone defense. Nice little quick throw like that with someone out front of him. Great call by Sean Payton.
Jamal Brown back in left tackle and the 2-point conversion. And the handoff to Reggie Bush. And he lost the ball, so the 2-point conversion fails, and the Saints will have to be content with a 5-point lead. Still early in this fourth quarter. Bush already with a touchdown reception. Needs 70 yards on the ground as well. Saints in front of the Falcons, 22-17. We have had 4 lead changes in this game. And there is the scoring drive, 87 yards on 10 plays. And capped with the 7-yard pass to Pierre Thomas. And Garrett Hartley getting set to kick off. Norwood is back deep. Norwood returning. Brings it out to the 27.
Take Reggie Bush here on this 2-point conversion is going to fumble, but you really can't tell when the ball comes out. He may have been across the goal line stripe when this ball leaks out at the end. But the Saints, without a challenge left because they used 2 in the first half, can't even challenge this 2-point conversion at this point.
And this, although it's hard to tell, certainly would not be a bad place to challenge, because now you're talking about what would be a 7-point spread, 7-point differential, totally different than what they're facing now with 5.
First down at the 27 for the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, 17 of 24, 247 yards, 1 TD and 1 INT. Pass is caught by Roddy White. By the way, Roddy White, before that play, had 153 yards in receptions, a career high for him. But let's go back to the men who are throwing it to those receivers.
Well, the quarterbacks are having great days today. The 1 interception by Matt Ryan led to a touchdown for the Saints early in the game. He's overcome that 1 interception. Exceptional play on both sides from both quarterbacks today.
Just a fun game to watch.
Very good.
Second down and 4. Here's Obi Mihaly on the block for Turner, and he gets the first down. And for a game break, let's check in again with Kurt.
Well, let's not chalk up that line victory just yet. Tavares Jackson to Vicente Shenko, and the tight end takes it in from 11 yards out. Put Minnesota on top, 17-13, 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Dick, Baldy, and Coach.
That was quick.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
First down. Good catch again by Norwood. Boy, Norwood makes some one-handed grabs, Baldy.
You know, we just showed the highlight there, the Detroit Lions. The Falcons' first game this year was against Detroit. And the first pass that Matt Ryan threw in that game was a 62-yard touchdown to Michael Jenkins. Pam Oliver talked about it in the piece she did on the Falcons today. And little thing to come, little prescient thing to come about how Matt Ryan has played.
And Jason Snelling in the game on the pitch to the left. And will get the first down. You saw Jarius Norwood limp off the field. Norwood with 4 carries for 20 yards. And a first down here for Atlanta.
Now the Falcons are doing something interesting. They're rotating their tackles. Tyson Clabo, Todd Weiner, depending on where they want to run the football.
First and 10 at the 49.
Fascinating the way Atlanta's going in and out of this no-huddle, Baldy. That really presses the defense. Not just no-huddle up and down the field, but they're selective about it.
7 on the play clock. And Turner. Not easy to bring him down, is it?
No. And he's one of those guys, like really good backs that get better as the game goes on. The big run from Michael Turner is probably still yet to come in this game because of the beating that you take trying to tackle him.
4-yard pickup by Michael Turner, who has 62 yards. Open is Harry Douglas. He's got the first down inside the 35 and close to the 30-yard line. So that's a 17-yard play, and the Falcons again moving the ball nicely.
And they had just run a sweep out of this formation. This is all orchestrated by Matt Ryan. He comes back. Obviously, it's a 2-play sequence. Get everybody where they belong. In a no-huddle, come back and play action and bootleg off of it.
And the hurry up, and the Saint defender got off just in the nick of time. Here's the pass up the middle, and it's caught. First catch by Justin Peel, the tight end, and very close to another Atlanta first down.
Ryan, how do you think they're setting this no huddle? Because sometimes they huddle and sometimes they don't. Seems like Matt Ryan is directing when they do it.
And the first down here on the quarterback sneak by Ryan.
There's a lot of parameters you could do it once you cross a certain place on the field. Let's say you cross your own 30. You're going to do that. Many teams will come out of it once they get down into the red zone because they want a more calculated call, be able to orchestrate the personnel in and out as we're seeing here. Sometimes, and obviously you'll pull out of it in a third down situation.
See, like the Falcons have been substituting. Now the Saints substitute late. They get Fajita in. There's the offensive line coach, Paul Boudreau. He looks a little wired.
He's trying to keep up too.
First down on the 18. Under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And Matt Ryan's pass and trying to get it to Finneran, and it's incomplete. We just flashed the numbers of Matt Ryan on the screen. They don't begin to tell the kind of game that he has played today.
No, because he's orchestrating all of this. He's doing so much at the line of scrimmage. What we'll never know up here, what the fans will never know, is how much he's doing at the line of scrimmage, what he's actually seeing, and based on that, how he's getting in and out of good and bad plays.
Darius Norwood, who limped off before, back in there. This is the 10th play of the drive for the Falcons. Peel in motion to the left, second down and 10. They drill it, and the pass caught by Roddy White and knocked out of bounds. Needs about 4 or 5 yards for the first down.
The location on these throws is impeccable. I mean, that's an out right there where Roddy White doesn't have to reach back. Doesn't have to put one hand out. It's right on his fingertips.
And if they don't convert here and would probably kick the field goal, in order to win this game, it's going to have to be a complete victory, offense and defense, because that defense of the Falcons is going to have to come out and keep the Saints from holding on to the ball or scoring against them.
Oh, it's third down and 4. Big play here. Ryan is going to run it. First down, touchdown. Matt Ryan couldn't find a receiver, and we haven't even talked about his ability to scamper if he needs to. And the Falcons regain the lead on the 5th lead change we've had today.
And this is the first touchdown by Matt Ryan in his NFL career. And what a time it is to come. On the road against a division opponent. Pump fake there. That pump right there. The line keeps everybody clean. And then you see more athleticism from Matt Ryan. And now it's time to go find his teammates to celebrate with.
And they're going to go for 2 here.
Makes sense, obviously, making a 3-point differential. The extra point making a 2-point really doesn't do you any good.
Well, Mike Smith is the CEO, makes the decisions on the field, lets the coordinators run the offense and defense. Here it is, 2-point conversion. Norwood going in motion, and the fake pitch to him, and the pass is caught by Michael Jenkins for the 2-point conversion. And the Atlanta Falcons have taken a 3-point lead, 25-22. Very impressive is this man. We'll be back. 7:51 remaining in the fourth quarter, and there is the scoring drive. 11 plays, 73 yards, capped with Matt Ryan running it over from 12 yards out. So Ryan with 22 of 30, 293 yards, 1 touchdown throwing, and 1 rushing. And Michael Kanan preparing to kick off. Pierre Thomas is back. Courtney Roby was injured, so now Thomas getting the call to return. He does from 3 yards in the end zone. Breaks it! And Kanan misses him. And Pierre Thomas has 2 men to beat. What a return by Pierre Thomas. Filling in, so to speak. 88 yards.
Maybe he shouldn't be filling in. This is the best return by a Saint I've seen this year. But he shows his strength. He breaks 2 tackles to get there. He ain't going to go down by Michael Kanan. And now the race is on from the backside in the pursuit.
And you know, Baldy, you see this because a lot of times, obviously returns are based on misdirection and speed and insight, and then you get forced to put a guy that's just going to run right down the hill.
And to be fair,
just go right down the field.
Pierre Thomas has returned more kicks than anyone on this team this year, including a 56-yarder. So maybe Roby was filling in for him. Anyway, first down on the 16. As the Saints threaten, here's Reggie Bush on the kids. Off the right side, and we'll lose a couple of yards. Maybe no gain, and Lawyer Malloy with a huge play.
Watch this Matt Ryan play-action fake on the 2-point conversion to Jarius Norwood. Only guy in the league to ever do this. This play-action fake, watch, he actually throws the ball to himself. All these defensive players see is the hands out. They think this ball is now going to Norwood. Now he catches it himself. Like a backyard, schoolyard play, which is where it actually started. And now he finds Michael Jenkins in the back of the end zone for the conversion. Just creativity from Matt Ryan on top of all the other skills that he has.
Second down and 10. Here's Bush up the middle. Reggie Bush to the outside. And a stiff arm to Dominic Foxworth, who fought him off. And they're shy of the first down by about a yard.
You got to give New Orleans credit for living up to what they said they were going to do, getting between the tackles. We saw they've been so much a horizontal game to the outside in terms of the running game. You saw the play before, Reggie Bush trying to get a toss play. To go right back into the heart of the defense is something they've had to do.
And this is conversation, you know, as the season's gone on, but this is the most exciting division in football. You get this type of play between these 2 teams all the time.
It looks that way. Reggie Bush with a season's high of 80. And there's the sweep. It's still intercepted by Michael Boley. He had the best shot on it. With Reggie Bush covering Bush out of the backfield.
Well, this is a favorite play, Brian, of the Saints, to get Bush outside, and they haven't snuffed out. That is coaching and game planning by the Falcons, to be able to read that on the run, get Michael Boley on him, and stuff that play.
Fourth down and 1.
Sean Payton for going the field goal here. Confidence in his offense at home, wants to take control of the game.
Earlier in the game, decided to go for the field goal on 4th and 1. Harney, the fullback, diving. And no signal given yet. First down, first and goal for the Saints. Mike Carney, who is inactive the last 3 games with a sprained knee, coming back today. What's Mike Smith yelling at?
I'm not sure if I think he wants a measurement. You know, you can call for that, going, look, you can't be that sure. I want a measurement. And I think that's what he was calling for.
It might not be a pad review because Mike Smith says, you know what? I'm going to challenge the spot, which you can. You can challenge the spot.
He threw it.
The problem with challenging on a spot, and it's always going to put it on us guys, because it's all about the camera angle.
Atlanta is challenging the forward progress spot.
First challenge of the game by the Atlanta Falcons. We'll take a break. Falcons lead by 3, just under 6 minutes to go in regulation. Mike Smith, the Falcon coach, on the right, challenging the spot of the ball and what would be first and goal.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner was still on his feet. Atlanta will be charged their first time out.
Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, who has seen his team have an incredible reversal, and you guys touched upon it, Coach, about the problems with Bobby Petrino leaving after a year, walking out of the team. Michael Vick, they were at rock bottom.
Baldy, was there an organization, Dick, in worse condition emotionally than the Atlanta Falcons at the end of last year?
Hold on. The culture.
And a lot of players, 22 new faces, as well as the culture. And Mike Smith talking about...
Correction, the clock does not start due to the charge timeout to Atlanta. The play clock should be set to 25 seconds.
So they'll change the play clock, and it was a matter of communication. And boy, they changed the culture in a hurry.
Just the way Drew Brees and Sean Payton did 2 years ago here in New Orleans.
First and goal at the 5. The pitch to Pierre Thomas off the left side. Thomas touchdown as he backs his way over the goal line. And the Saints regain the lead.
He's got a convoy out in front. Gonna get a good block here by Shockey. Good lead block here by Billy Miller. Here comes Carl Nix.
Just kind of rolls over the top of the bodies into the end zone.
Keeps up as live as long as possible, and this guy has a great nose for the touchdown line. That drive was all Pierre Thomas, starting with his kickoff return.
Of 88 yards, Baldy, and it's a 28-25 lead, and Garrett Hartley for the point after. And it's a big one because the Saints now have taken a 29-25 lead, and the Falcons would need a touchdown to regain the lead. Pierre Thomas. The Saints leading the Falcons 29-25. 6 lead changes in this game. Want to remind you, coming up on the NFL on Fox, the Cowboys and the Steelers. The Pittsburgh, great run defense, as good as we've seen in years, and the Dallas Cowboys need this game and for their playoff hopes. And then tonight the games are over, and now college football's best teams will find out who they will play in college football's best games. It's a live primetime special that you can only see on Fox, the All-State BCS selection show tonight, following the OT at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Scoring drive, and you said it, Baldy, 88 yards on the kick return, 5 yards on the touchdown. And now Hartley kicking off to Norwood. Runs it out from the end zone. Head down and gets to the 20. Good coverage by the Saints there, led by Marvin Mitchell.
Well, it's been a great afternoon for Matt Ryan, but it will be a rememberable afternoon for Matt Ryan if he can engineering a touchdown drive here to take the lead.
But it's the proverbial, but don't score too quick.
Foul.
Go out and go a length of field, go 80 yards, son, but please don't do it too quick, because we don't want to give it back to Drew Brees.
Getting to know this guy here, Coach, he probably is factoring all that in as he starts his drive.
They'll start from the 20. And Michael Turner, who has 62 yards rushing. Getting the handoff and going down. And Will Smith, they didn't know if he was even going to be eligible to play in this game, and throws Turner for a loss of about 5.5.
He was in the backfield just waiting on Michael Turner on that play. Here's going to come inside the tight end. Look like it's just a missed block there on the outside.
Well, the last drive saw Matt Ryan overcome 2 holding penalties and dig themselves out of a giant hole. That first play put them in a bit of a hole.
Second down and 15. Ryan's pass caught by Michael Jenkins. and close to the first down at the 30-yard line.
It's all I have to do is ask for it, and it kind of shows up here. This guy's pretty good, Paul.
This guy, look at this stick throw. Tight spiral, double coverage, high to Michael Jenkins where only he can get it, and a first down.
At the 30, season's high passing yardage for Matt Ryan today, 308 yards.
Get outside the 30-yard line, kick into the no huddle.
Ryan's pass caught again by Jenkins, and Jenkins out to the 37, picks up 7 yards.
Matt must be calling the plays here, Coach, because he wasn't even down the ground, and Matt Ryan's already starting to shout instructions to the receivers. This is his offense. These are his plays right now.
2nd and 3. Ryan, and it looks like it was a designed run. Kendrick Clancy put the clamps on him immediately, and that is the first sack of the game for either team, a loss of 2.
Hard to run a quarterback draw when the defensive line is exhausted. They're not coming up the field. They're just staying right on the line of scrimmage.
And huddled for the 3rd down call. If they convert this, I have to see him go back into no huddle, but clearly they want a more orchestrated call on 3rd down.
They need 5 to the Falcons, and Ryan's pass is incomplete. Hinneran was the intended receiver. So Matt Ryan has been weaving that 3rd down magic throughout the game, and now it'll be 4th down coming up, and they're going to kick it away.
And now Mike Smith decided to put it on his defense. We'll get Drew Brees in this offense stopped with 3:23 on the clock. Got 2 timeouts. We think we can get the ball back.
Kanan will be kicking.
To Reggie Bush.
Glad you added that.
Well,
I think it's a factor.
He is the best returner in the league.
Good high kick. Coverage coming down, and Bush calling for the fair catch at the 13-yard line. And it looked like tempers flared momentarily around the punt return. So 3:15 to go, and now, as you said, it's the defense for the Falcons. See if they can hang in there.
I'll ask you, Baldy. You be the coach here, because I'm tired of being second guessed. That's a tough call because your offense is playing very, very well. You have confidence in that. Your defense, really in the second half, has not stopped the New Orleans Saints at all.
No, but if you go for it on that 4th down there, Coach, and you miss it,
right,
you're at least probably going to surrender a field goal, which really puts them, it makes an 8-point game if you do that. I'd say, you know what, give your defense a shot and give Matt Ryan 2 timeouts in the ball, maybe.
From the 13, Brees is going to throw it. He's going to complete it to Jeremy Shockey. And Shockey will be close to the first down at the 23.
And that's a good call because New Orleans, you got to figure, conventionally you're going to run the ball, right? Because you want to eat up clock. So play action, waggle, come out the other side and get an easy first down.
First down it is. And this is a tough situation for the Falcons defense against Drew Brees.
That doesn't make any sense. They want Abraham fresh in the 4th quarter. This is when they need him, on this drive right now, not on the sideline.
Chauncey Davis is playing well, but he's not Abraham, I guess. He's in there now. And first down, here is Pierre Thomas. And Thomas with a big run. Just shy of another first down for the Saints.
But if the Saints win this game, Pierre Thomas is the MVP of this game because he's given them balance. He's given them big plays in the return game, and then on offense, he's been their bell cow, a guy that they've been looking for all year.
And he broke the momentum of the Atlanta Falcons, who took the lead. And the 2-minute warning has come on. Pierre Thomas, big game for him. Timeout, 2 minutes to go.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Two minutes remaining in the 4th quarter here in New Orleans. With the Saints leading by 4, they have a 2nd down and 1 on the 32. Pierre Thomas gives them a first down, and of course the Falcons have only 2 timeouts remaining, and they're going to use one of them right here at 1:55.
Saints actually lucked out in it not being the previous run a first down, made it a second one, allowed them to run one easy play inside of 2 minutes, forcing Atlanta to use the timeout. Everything's in New Orleans' hands now.
That Pierre Thomas is a great story. I mean, he was a free agent last year from Illinois. Got a chance in the final game of the season against the Bears to start. Had over 100 yards rushing, 100 yards receiving. With the injuries to Deuce McAllister, to Reggie Bush, he's gotten an opportunity, but he looks like a frontline back that they've been looking for to complement Drew Brees all season.
And let's not forget Aaron Stecker, who also was another Saint running back. First down at the 35 for New Orleans, and here's Pierre Thomas. Pierre Thomas picking up a couple of yards, and the Falcons will use their last timeout. Have to use them on defense once the Saints had that first down, and it comes with 1:51.
Now the priority here for the Saints, clearly it's all about clock. You should not see a pass in here, I don't think. That's always a little problematic when you're talking about Sean Payton, his willingness to put the ball down the field. But clearly a run, you get 2 runs in here even without a first down. There should be less than 30 seconds on the clock.
And Coach, you talked about the balance that has been a pass-happy Sean Payton in a lot of instances this year. The Saints rushing for 175 yards to this point.
Well, they wanted to get balance, and they got it today. And if they indeed win this game, that's going to be the reason.
Second down and 8. Falcons are out of timeouts. Pierre Thomas brings it out to the 41-yard line. They'll need 3 yards for the first down, and if you're wondering about John Abraham, and Baldy making the comment that he wasn't on the field on that last sequence, there is no injury to Abraham, in case you were wondering.
Well, they know that New Orleans wants to run the ball. They've just got bigger players out there. Chauncey Davis, bigger than John Abraham, maybe a little bit more stout at the point. They know they're not going to throw the football here, so they're just putting their best run defenders up there. See Grady Jackson in the middle.
John Abraham all year long, they've gotten a lot of productivity out of him because they've limited his pitch count. And he wasn't buying into it earlier, but he is now.
And a timeout called by the Saints right here. And they'll be left with 1. Welcome the viewers who saw the Minnesota Vikings eke out a 20-16 win over the Detroit Lions. We have 1:07 to go in this one, and it has been a classic indeed between the Falcons and the Saints. Dick Stockton, along with the coach, Brian Billick, Brian Baldinger, and Laura Oakman. And we've had 6 lead changes in this game. And Matt Ryan, the rookie, has been magnificent in what right now is a losing cause. And the numbers, 315 yards, his best of the year, but he engineered some incredible drives. 57 yards for Michael Turner. And Roddy White with 164 yards, another big day for him. Drew Brees has been as magnificent today for the Saints. And Reggie Bush coming alive, returning last week after missing 4. And it's just been one of the top games we have seen this year. Third down and 3. Pierre Thomas on the pitch. Thomas will get the first down. And welcome those who saw the Eagles upset the Giants. We have under a minute to go, and what has been a tremendous game. 6 lead changes. The Saints appear to be headed to a win here.
There's Pierre Thomas on just a toss crack. Hit the tackle, Stinchcomb out in front. Pierre Thomas is not a real big guy, but he's powerful. He breaks tackles, stayed in bounds, and he really contributed today.
What a back and forth game, Coach.
It was. It was a great game to watch. You talked about it, Dick, watching both these quarterbacks operate. Baldy, I agree with you 100%. This is the best division in football, and it's going to go down to the very end.
And that'll do it. A terrific game. Outstanding quarterbacking by a rookie and a veteran. And a fourth quarter rally by the New Orleans Saints gives them the 29-25 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons drop to 8-5. The Saints go to 7-6. So for Brian Baldinger, Brian Billick, and Laura Oakman, Dick Stockton saying so long from New Orleans. Right now, let's go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.